special edition of the Neil Haley Show, the Storehouse Media Group podcast, and Criminally Good with Sherrie and Jen. How are you guys? And who's our guest today?
Hi, Neil. Our guest today is none other than Matthew B. Cox, or Matt. And Matt is a true crime podcaster, a true crime author of multiple books. He podcasts Inside True Crime, which does very well out there. But he also has quite a past, and we want to talk about that. Hi, Matt. Welcome to our TriCast.
Okay. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Matt.
Hi.
So Matt he was a former licensed mortgage broker, and he owned his own broker business. And he is a national recognized expert on white collar crimes, specifically the creation of synthetic identities, fraudulent acquisition of credit cards, personal loans, and mortgages. And the reason I bring it in is because Matt found himself in a little bit of hot water because he knew that area so well, right, Matt? I mean, you were on the Secret Service most wanted list, and that's what we want to get into too. But you also have a great podcast, Inside True Crime.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about
podcast. Thank you.
Your podcast, True Crime. Tell us about Inside True Crime. What's that about? For people who've never tapped into it.
It's just I just interview law enforcement and former criminals. Hopefully, sometimes they're not former criminals. Sometimes they get arrested after the podcast for something, but they seemed former. That's just what I've been doing since I was released from prison.
You wrote a lot of books, true crime books. You got started doing that while you were in prison,
right? There's not a lot to do.
A couple of those you've actually been able to work with the folks out in Hollywood. Is that correct?
I mean, I've optioned the life rights of several of the books, but I mean, nothing's ever really happened. I mean, we've had a couple of whatever you call them, anthology documentaries, where they've done like a 1 hour special on one of my guys, or really probably about 3 or 4 of them. But there haven't been any movies or series made yet, which is obviously what I'm hoping for. But we'll see. I'm not holding my breath. If it happens, it happens. If not, it's not a big deal.
I can see that coming for you, and I see the thing with the Once a Gun Runner. Of course, me being former ATF, but Once a Gun Runner, and then War Dogs. They certainly seem like they matched up pretty much.
Yeah, but that movie was based on supposedly was based on the article that was written by Guy Lawson in Rolling Stone magazine. Okay. And I was locked up with Ephraim Diveroli, which is with Jonah Hill plays him in the movie. I was locked up, so I was locked up with him, and I wrote his memoir and got a book deal for his memoir. So a lot of people immediately say, "Oh, you're the guy that wrote War Dogs," and that's not the case.
Not true. Okay, and I actually took it to be that way, that maybe you had somehow or another been involved with the writing or helping with the script. But okay, thank you for clearing that up. You think Shark in the House is gonna, or Shark in the Housing Pool? You think that's gonna have a chance at maybe? That seems to me like a series.
I mean, I did at one point, and it may still. I've keep in mind, it takes forever. I mean, I've had it optioned several times. The options have expired. I've been flown out to LA to meet with producers and do all the things that you expect to do. I've had the meetings, and it's the same old thing over and over. This is going on 7 years now. So
yeah. And that's the big thing. You get option, and finally, Matthew, it happens. You just have to wait.
Yeah. No.
And then the right story comes.
It never happens. Sometimes it's option to option.
No, I've talked to some people that do them a lot, and out of 40, the projects, 3 or 4 got optioned. Yeah. So don't. Yeah. I talked to a lot of New York Times best-selling authors. Just be ready, because when you say it's not going to happen, then you're going to get the phone call. That's how it works.
We'll see. I mean, listen, I'm doing great as things are right now, so I'm perfectly happy with it. And so I think, I mean, if it happens, that would be phenomenal. I'd love that, but I'm not I'm not banking on. It's not like, listen, I know guys that are literally, they're like waiting around for their option to turn into a full-blown movie. And I am always like, you might want to think about doing something else.
Yeah.
Like if that's what you're banking on, your big hit to be, you might want to start,
the Southern saying about putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't work out a lot of times.
You might want to think about a plumbing apprentice.
Yeah. Something of that nature.
Something.
I mean, you see their hourly rate, right? It's unreal, Matt.
They're like the millionaires, right? Like,
as they figure out how to build the business. As an individual, they can be millionaire just working 80 hours a week because of the amount of money. But if you have a team and you build a thing, some of these plumbing companies and electric company, meaning electricians that have companies, are worth 15, 16 million a year or something. It's
great. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's something you might want to look into that.
Exactly. If you're
won't need a CPA in 5 years, and there's 10 years you won't need factory workers and all kinds of stuff. So
exactly.
Well, things are being phased out.
You have any new projects that you're working on that you'd like to tell us about? Anything true crime related? Because I saw you checking out CrimeCon pretty good.
Yeah, super disappointed in CrimeCon, by the way.
Oh,
there's no criminals. There's no criminals. It's all, matter of fact, they're not just are there no criminals. I mean, they're actively keeping you from being able to get a booth. Like we sent in multiple applications and never got a response. But we had the first one we went to, we sent a letter in saying we were journalists and we wanted some free tickets because we were going to write an article for my online magazine, and they sent me free. They immediately responded and sent free tickets. But when we applied to, hey, can we get a booth? No response, over and over again. So, and I noticed walking around it, like this is the closest you get to, people that actually were a part of some kind of a criminal, true crime, some kind of true crime stories or anything, are former law enforcement or someone who's the family member of a victim of some kind. It's like anybody who's no criminals are like, I have a podcast. Like I'm sitting there talking to guys that I'm like, you've got a true crime podcast and you have 400 subscribers. Like I have 1.1 million subscribers and I couldn't get a return email. How did you get in here?
Really? So you're kidding me. Oh, wow. And that's interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody I know that has, it's the same thing. Like, it's the same. Every guy I know that was, even the people that stand up and give the speeches, there's no former criminals. The former criminals are people that have gone to jail that shouldn't have gone to jail. So it's always like they were vindicated. Like I went to jail some guy goes to jail for 14 years and is found not guilty and released and he's vindicated. But if you legitimately went to prison because you robbed 4 banks, we're not interested in. Which is, it seems like such a huge opportunity missed.
So then I think with the 1.1 million subscribers, congratulations. I'm working with a group that's blowing up on Facebook, a podcast, and our goals are that they're doing 3 million views a month on Facebook already, and we just started with 0 followers, and we're at 4,000. It's an NHL podcast. And we're getting tons of interactions, and they're close to subbing. And the other, I'm asking this as the process. What do you think is your best monetization strategy with the 1.1 million subs you got on YouTube to help really build it? Is it outside sponsors or is it inside the YouTube platform?
I mean, I think, I don't know, my producer's here, but he's got headphones on. So say the question again.
On monetization.
Oh, on monetization.
Yeah. Where pays you more, outside sponsors or coming straight from YouTube?
Oh, no. Our AdSense, our YouTube sponsors pay more than outside sponsors, but that's also probably unique to being a true crime podcast. We believe that there's just some brands that just are not interested in sponsoring a true crime podcast. If we were a financial podcast, it'd be vastly different, or if you're a true crime podcast that didn't have maybe the host of a guy that did 13 years, I'm not for everybody. So that, that may also be part of it. So, because there are comparable shows to ours that are bringing in a ton more money than our show. And we're getting a similar views, but they're making a lot more on external sponsors than we are. And the only difference is like we're a true crime sponsor.
Right. Just wanted to know, but how did you grow to that 1.1 million? It's your producer, or is it you?
So I would say initially a lot of it was me going on other shows, me getting out there and getting on other podcasts, and telling my story, and people get interested in you. And then they want to follow you and they want to support you, and they go to they subscribe, and then maybe I like to think that then they see a couple of interviews and then they think, hey, wow, this is interesting. I like these, and then they stay. And so then once that happens, of course, YouTube starts to push your videos more and more. I also continue to go on podcasts, even though I don't think it's necessary anymore. What helped us with a big push was shorts. We've done, we partnered with the right people that are really boosting our, our reach with shorts and reels and TikToks, and those are great. Our Facebook page periodically gets shut down for 90 days at a time, but
is it changing now? Because the Facebook's changing a lot of ways in certain aspects. I'm seeing Meta and some change. That's definite what I'm seeing in the growth and more short form content's going on Facebook now. It's really going well.
Well, I'll let you know. We just got it back, so got out of Facebook jail. But it's funny because we were at 1 million, and as soon as we got out, within a few days, we're at 1.1 million. So I mean, it's doing really well in the last. We've only been out like 10 days. So.
It's red hot. I mean, to the point, like literally getting all these views all the time. This is with NHL wraparound, but that's because no one else is talking hockey in the middle of the summer. So that's the power of what they do. And they have the former general manager of the New York Rangers, Neil Smith. So it doesn't help. It helps to have the type of talent that comes on. But I think that's the key thing. And it's reps. That's the big thing that's happening in all the platforms. The more videos you post, the more content you create, the more rewards you're going to have, which makes it such a full-time job, Matt. Explain that. Like the amount of content.
We put out we schedule, let's say 6 or 7 podcasts a week. But so many people, at the last minute, they don't want to show up, or something
really
happens.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. So we probably do 4 a week. And then we always have 2 or 3 weeks in the pipeline, in the queue. And then so periodically, somebody has to go on vacation, or so there's a wedding, or, you miss a few days here, a few days. So those funnel in. So I'd say we film probably 3 or 4, on average, 3 to 4 a week. We put out 3 a week. Like we consistently put out 3 videos. We post 3 videos a week, and we post shorts every day.
How many you do post? Because
main channel. Yeah. We do about 10 shorts across all platforms, but we do 1 short per day on the main channel.
I would rep it higher. That's my recommendation. It's a Gary Vee strategy now. Yeah. Everything's becoming what Gary Vee says. Post 60 pieces of content every day. That's my recommendation. I'm telling you, it's working. So I never thought the more you post, the better rewards you get, but you do. So that's what's happening.
So
how long did it take you to build to 1.1 million subscribers?
I would say 6 years. Are we at 6 years yet? We're right at 6 years. We're right at 6 years.
Okay.
But the first few years, of course, it's absolutely horrible. It's a labor of love, right? You better just enjoy what you're doing, bro, because you're not making any money.
I didn't make any money on my show for years, and now it's really paying off. But it took time.
Yeah.
It's reps. I keep saying it's reps. Go, go, go. Never give up. It's your passion. So do you love doing the podcast, Matthew?
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't have made it this far if I didn't enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just builds. You keep hitting a different marks, right? Like, so it started with, we were doing 1 video a week, and then after a year of that, it was making enough money that you could see the increase. Well, it started with me just doing 6 months of me just filming myself with my iPhone. And then it turned into me interviewing other people. We did 1 video a week. And then that turned into, once we realized, okay, this is making, X amount of dollars. And I thought, hey, we could double this, but we need to do 3 a week to double it. But with remotes though, right? Because we were doing all in person. We didn't want to do remotes. We were like, listen, at this point, you're begging people to come on the show. I'm begging people to come on. And so it was hard to get one a week. Periodically, you have like a buddy who, has a criminal record jump in and we do something like review videos or something, whatever, talk about prison stories. Like, and then I decided let's start doing 2 remotes a week. That should be like doing 2 in-person videos because you get less on remote views, right? In person, you get about 70% more. You get about 30% of what you get. You get on 30%.
That's true.
Remote.
So you have people coming to your studio.
Oh, of course. And they're coming.
That's the power of the next level.
Right.
If you have that time, like I do all my stuff remote, but that's my next step, right?
Yeah, you got to get it. Because you'll see a huge increase. Huge increase. And then what we did, you also might want to change your camera angle so we're not staring at the corner of your room. But anyway, of your ceiling. So the other thing we did was
but Matt, how many views I get at 3 million an hour on radio. I interview the major celebrities. Anyone would come on my show.
I understand.
Okay, I agree with you. It's the studio I'm in.
Right.
I'm trying to set up things. It's based on my spot. I agree with you. Good tip on that. I was just trying to provide for you the tips that I would increase your views by 5 to 10 million a week by reps on shorts.
So what we did then was we started doing the in-person, and then as we got more subscribers, we started doing 2 in-person, and then it was 3, then it was all in-person. We don't do remotes anymore because after like 500,000 subscribers, people stop, you're not really begging people to come on anymore. And now they're willing to fly themselves in. Now the people that you couldn't get before because they wanted you to pay for their flights, right? Like I can't afford to pay for your flight and your hotel. Like it's too much money.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know that I'm going to make back the $500 or $600. So, and then I'm not, of course, even if you break even, it's like, well, we're not doing this to break even.
So the person you want on are criminals then. That's what makes the show special.
No, we have, I would say maybe 10% are former law enforcement, or maybe it's a journalist that wrote a book about a crime, but I mean, it's all crime based, right? So anyway, so eventually those people are saying, hey, I'll fly myself from California. I'll put myself in a hotel. I'll put myself, so you don't have to really do that anymore. And now it's a matter of how do we sift through these people? You're sifting through. It's like now you're getting so many submissions. You're like, this guy, he would have been okay 3 years ago, but now maybe not, So
exactly.
But not that the bar is high. It's still pretty low. It's really, can you tell a story? Do you have a semi story and do you tell a story? Because I would rather have a guy that could tell his story that maybe he doesn't have a substantially amazing story, right?
Right.
Maybe he's got he's got some, whatever. He's a drug dealer, right? And he's been in and out of jail, but he's hilarious and he can tell his story and it's funny and he's great energy. Then I would rather have him than a guy that has $100 million scam story, but he just can't tell it.
Right.
He can't stay chronological. He can't build the story arc. He can't, he has no energy. I can't have that guy. I mean, those guys are, it's like, it's horrible to have somebody who has amazing story and then have them walk out of the studio and my producer and I look at each other and it's just like so disappointing because there's an amazing story there and as much probing and as I did, he couldn't tell it. He just couldn't. It's you can only do so much. You can only probe and push and so much until you're like, all right, let's just run the clock out at this point. Just tell it, just tell me what you got.
Interesting.
Nothing I can do.
Speaking of story, you have a really good story. And, I'm all about the story because I'm into books and stuff. Was it hard when to tell your story? I mean, you were getting called these names by, different media. Was it difficult for you to share and say, hey, yeah, this is what I am and this is what I did?
I would say that when I first read an article about myself, I was extremely offended. They were calling me a con man, and I clearly was a con man, and I clearly was a fraudster. And I clearly, but you just don't see yourself how you really are. And to me, I was like, I can't, I'm not, they said this and oh, that's not true. And, I was offended because they said, my Audi was silver and it was gray. It was just stupid. It was just like, you're arguing over, it's like, they said I killed, it's like the argument of, they said I killed 14 people and I only killed 12. Like, what, you're still a scumbag. Like, what are you doing? So these people, I would read these articles, and so it was very upsetting. And then, of course, when I saw Dateline and American Greed, like they just gut you, and they twist everything in the worst possible light. But eventually, after I wrote my memoir and really kind of rewrote it a few times and really looked at myself, and I had to kind of step back and say, okay, this is accurate. Is American Greed brutal? Yeah, but it's also probably 95% true. And it's like, so you have to kind of go, okay, I get it. Like, they had to shorten some things, and they didn't do it in the way I would want to do it, but they did it in the way that they got more views. And so by the time I got out of prison, I was pretty thick-skinned on what people thought about me. And so when I got out and I started telling my story, I just decided I was going to be just absolutely honest and brutal about it, whether it was to my detriment or not. And I figured that was the way to go, because I've seen so many people twist their story. And once I started writing people's stories and they would talk to me about it, it was always like, yeah, you kept saying you were moving a little bit of pot, but Jesus, like they busted you with 1,200 pounds. That's not a little, that's half a ton of marijuana. Like, what are you doing? Like, everything about, you're reading the victim statements, you're reading the prosecution statement, you're reading the testimonies of people. And you're like what you're saying is you're downplaying everything. And 25 people that testified against you, they can't all be wrong. So, so I got to a point where I was like, if I'm going to just tell my story, I'm just going to tell it exactly how it is and how it happened. And if people don't like it, then, what do I care? I don't care if you don't like it. That's your problem. I mean, I know what I did. I've always said, can I cuss?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. There are two kinds of people. There are those people that are absolutely, acceptant of the person that I used to be and the person I am now. And there are those people that can go fuck themselves. And I'd rather, and so if you have a problem with it, well, then we're not going to be friends. And that just breaks my heart. But
see, and that's where you have to ignore the comments, right?
Yeah.
Ignore all those different things. You figured out how to monetize and make money in doing a podcast. That's kudos to you. A lot of them, people never figured that out. Your success is growing that, building other things. What would you say are your other big passions to the podcast? What are ways you said you've optioned some books and things like that? Are there other types of things that you're monetizing based on the YouTube channel and based on your notoriety now?
I mean, I'd say my books sell because of that. Because of the channel.
Yeah.
Obviously I get speaking gigs, mostly probably because of, obviously not mostly because of the channel, right? Like I speak in front of banks and cyber conventions and mortgage companies and stuff. And so obviously that's getting me monetization. And then we're my producer's talking about starting 2 additional channels, which I won't really be like the host of, but they'll be in the building. He's, where our studio, he owns the studio. So, but I'll be kind of hosting, right? Like I'll be on some of them, but so we're kind of working and doing that too. That's, but as a result of the main channel and all of the other channels, it's easier to monetize those channels because you already have a channel, right? It's very easy. For instance, we just started doing this channel called The Murder Men. And it was monetized in, I think, 9 days.
Wow.
And it is already doing very well. Like I think we've been doing it 4 months and it's got 36,000 subscribers. The videos are all getting between 50 and 150,000.
Wow. Okay.
views. So it's doing well and it's growing and it's and it's a lot of fun to do. I like doing the video. I love doing videos. I mean, I'm very interested in talking about, I like talking about crime.
That's great.
Okay.
We're getting close to winding down. So Sherrie and Jen, what final question you have for him?
I think, Matt, one, I appreciate you coming and talking, and I really like that you're very forthright in all your responses. I found you to be that way when we met at Crime Con and we're talking about just a variety of things. The other thing that I want to point out for people is you're doing something that most people from the federal system don't do. You are repaying your restitution, your court ordered stuff. You're doing it. You're doing it with no problem as far as you getting it done. And I know from my 32 years in law enforcement, most people don't pay it back. They don't even bother. They don't try, and no one holds them accountable at all. Right. And I'm like, so I meet you and I'm thinking, this guy is doing what he's supposed to. And they held you to about 60 million, give or take, as to what they were saying about you.
It was, I'm glad you're not on my case. It was 6 million.
6 million. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, which I'll never pay off because I think the U.S. attorney involved is saying that it's like $500 a day in interest, and I'm like, well, I'm never paying this off. Like, I'm just going to pay off 6 million. You could do what you can, right? Like you can pay, and I'm paying what they'll tell me to pay. They look at all your stuff, and yes, that's fine.
Plus, with you, there's not been this recidivism thing, and I appreciate that. It's like, because it's so easy for so many people to just go back to what they knew in desperation. You sat back and said, "Hey, I can write. I'm going to write. I'm going to do," and you did great with that. Okay. Do you do any sculpting? Because I know that was something you did in college.
No, I paint.
You paint, okay.
I paint. I still paint.
Okay.
Actually, that's when I got out. I went to the halfway house, and then I went into a rooming house, and I was painting. I was just doing paintings and putting them on Instagram, and I was selling the paintings. That's how I was making money. So it was that's how I kept myself afloat for a couple of years. That and selling the books that I'd written, and that was kind of paying my bills. I managed to go every single month and just managed to make my bills every month doing that. So yeah, I was gonna say,
glad you're still painting. That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like it. I'll do it sometimes I'll do it for a few months, and I won't do anything for months and months and months. But I was just telling my wife I need to start painting again. But because I haven't painted anything probably in 2 months. But it's funny when you talk about getting out and going back. It's funny, all the guys that were in there, there's other fraudsters and scammers and con artists and stuff, right, that are in there. All of them would come to me, and it always seemed like they were scheming to get themselves back in prison. They would, so for instance, I stole someone's identity one time, and I changed his name, legally changed his name, got an driver's license in his name, got all of his information, legally changed his name, and got a new driver's license and everything. So they knew I'd legally had someone's name changed. So I used to get these guys to come to me and say, "Hey, how hard is it to get your name changed?" And I was
my gosh,
it's easy. Right. Pay $1,500 and I'd explain it to them, and they would ask all these questions, and I would think, it just sounds to me like you're just coming back to prison.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So Matt, best place people can connect with you. Where can they go?
Yeah, I'd say you can contact me on Instagram. On Instagram, it's Inside True Crime on Instagram. Or where, you can go almost every video. It's got my email in the description box of every. I'm not hiding. It's not hard to find.
All right, perfect. And we can go to jenniferclarkeeskew.com for information on Jen, and then storehousemediagroup.com for all things podcasting, publishing, and media. Appreciate it, guys. That was Criminally Good Podcast, guys. Take care.